Well, good evening on day 39. My YouTube is acting a little strange, so I hope this is working. And now the clock is ticking again, so okay, I guess it's working. I'll wait a little moment to see if anyone wants to join at this late hour. Today I want to talk about what actually cannot be done. I think this path of opening up to new perspectives, opening up to awareness, opening up to self-realization, whatever you call it, that these 99 days are about, is almost the only path I can think of, is that you cannot really control or force. And that's the biggest challenge of it all, that you just have to surrender so many times and just trust that things will happen when they need to happen. And that can take sometimes a lot longer than you might expect or hope for. And the reason why that, I think, happens is because this mind is so tricky in preventing us to change at this deeper level. It's preventing us to feel pain. That's actually the mind, and then I mean the mind that creates the thoughts, the stories. That is the one that prevents us from feeling pain again. So it's a tricky balance between what the mind is telling and the fact that you have to sense things and have to integrate concepts, or at least it starts as a concept. And then you make your own translation from any concept I share. And with that, always there is an expectation from the mind. The mind wants this confirmation, like, now I got it. And it never comes from the mind, weirdly enough. So whatever change is happening within you, you somehow will never get the confirmation from the mind. You will get the confirmation from your I would almost say from some inner voice, like this aha moment. But it's at the same time, it's also a feeling of release. So there's not really a story connected to it. There's not really an explanation or confirmation. It just suddenly is there, and then it just sinks in. So with concepts I'm sharing, and they're all just concepts. They're not there to be understood actually by the mind. They're just there to sink deeper within yourself and to feel that feeling of liberation and solidness within yourself. That's actually all there is to it. But the concepts do help to open up to things. Concepts do help to raise your awareness of what you're actually doing and feeling or not feeling. So if something that I'm sharing is not sinking in yet, or you can't get to it, or the mind is getting too strong about it, then apparently it's not the time yet to explore that concept or explore that what I'm sharing. then I would suggest not to go into it any further. Just let it go. Just leave it. It's not relevant yet. Because there might be a lot of things already happening which is not confirmed by the mind it's the same thing, but it might be the same thing at the same time. So, like someone of the group asked about this concept of self-love is like something that doesn't sink in yet, or I cannot connect to it at a deeper level. Then the mind does not get it. So it doesn't give you its confirmation, but it doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Or it doesn't mean it hasn't happened. It's just not confirmed by the mind like that. And it will never be confirmed by the mind like that. So if whatever process during these days, or whatever you're stuck with, I would strongly suggest just to let it go for now, and perhaps ask the topic again within a couple of days or weeks. We have quite a long time to go yet. And through other words or other self-reflections, things might already shift so much. And then that concept you're stuck with is just the last little thing. And then you suddenly have this moment, now I got it. Now I feel it. Now it's integrated. Now it's opening up. Now it's releasing whatever then is happening. So this might be really confusing, because on the one hand, I'm asking you to explore things and to reflect and to become more aware. And on the other side, you might just have to let go of things. And as I don't know each and every one where you are in the process, I cannot say what's the best way now to go forth. But for sure, if you're stuck with something, then it's the mind that's stuck. And then it's best just to let go of that specific thing for now. And that means that you really have to focus then on to trust yourself. That something within you will show in time and on time that what needs to be seen. Of course, if you're still opening up to sensing and doing the practice, opening up to the heart, that's that process that needs to be done. That's not a force for change, that's just a practice, because we haven't been operated like that for so many years. Haven't been operating like that for so many years. So that you still need to do every day. So that's what I call going from the mind operating system to the heart-based operating system. That really needs practice. Not with a force, just with pure dedication and focus. But forcing things to happen or forcing things to release is not working. On the contrary, you only get more frustrated. And if there's something that you do want to explore or want to get your mind around, then almost everything that ever happened within your life happened in your childhood. That's still causing you triggers or pain or uncomfortability. So if you are questioning something, whether it's relevant for you or not, then think of something, how this was for yourself in your childhood. And that might be an opening. But if nothing happening there, if there's nothing comes up, or there's nothing you might relate to, then just let that go. Let that concept go for now. If there's anything I would like to emphasize on, is almost like sitting with all of you for 99 days in silence and just sense and sense and sense and deepen and deepen and deepen within yourself, to just open up. Because as soon as this body is opened up and you sense everything that happens, then you also become aware of your reaction to what happens in life. Your reaction, what happens in life, is translated by the mind, but it happens before that. So like a trigger is something that's literally someone does something or says something to you, and then it's literally just pushing a button in your body. And that's what you're feeling. And then the thought comes up. And then the feeling gets more amplified, or the uncomfortable feeling, and that goes very fast, obviously. But that first preliminary reaction, that where this button is pushed, that's where we can prevent ourselves from going into the unconscious patterns from the past. And some are really, really stubborn, some of these triggers and old pains. And I was even caught by surprise how this past week my old family patterns are still coming up for me. The ones that make me feel very uncomfortable. And I've been working on those for so many times and so many years, and it's still sensitive. So whatever it is that makes you uncomfortable, whether it's the mind that's too busy, a concept that doesn't sink in, of something that I share, whether you just have an off day with no reason, you're just tired, or there's no reason at all, then try not to do anything. Try not to think about it. Try not to be hard on yourself, like you have to solve this, or you have to explore this, or you have to understand what's happening. And for me, that's actually still the hardest part, to just receive that something is off and uncomfortable, and then just let it go and just accept it and not do anything. I still want to understand what's happening. That's so strong within me, that I want to understand everything. But then I get too strong in the mind again. So it's not helping me. So what best helps is, whenever something feels uncomfortable for whatever reason, whether it's because of these 99 days or something that happens in your daily life, is to just ask yourself if is it worth to spend time on this? Will it make me feel better? Will I improve in that moment? Will I understand it? Is it worth spending time on it? Or can I just open up with my system and just let it go? Not ignoring it, that's not helping, because then it will come back. But just try to sit with the uncomfortable feeling. And perhaps go into a meditation or for a walk or so it might be a disillusion, but it's honestly true that nothing can be forced here. Nothing. At the same time, a lot will shift anyway. Even when you're frustrated about something, something will shift already, because the acknowledgement that you're frustrated is already getting you out of the victim role, or out of the role that you were unaware. So whatever you shine your light on, within or at yourself, that's already moving. That's already been seen. That's already been, literally, the light has been shined on that part. Even if the mind doesn't understand it at that moment, or gets really frustrated or agitated about it, then there must already a lot be happening at a deeper level. Because your mind is apparently fighting and protecting you not to feel it. But even if you don't feel it, it's already felt. It might not be released yet, but something is shifting, that's for sure. And yesterday, I was asked why self-reflection is so important to me. And that was a good question. And the reason why I've been so active about this for many years is because I noticed that whatever I shine my light on within myself, literally changes my life. Not in the same moment, but looking back at how my life was years ago, it feels completely different. And for some people, this might never be needed because they are just simply wired differently and it already comes naturally. So for some of you, this might all sound very complicated and like, do we really have to go through everything? No, we don't. Only when life shows it to you, then you have to go through it. Well, you don't have to, but that's what we're here for. So you can only work with the pointers that life shows you. So again, if something doesn't sink in yet, then apparently life hasn't shown you in such a way that you need to deal with it. Or it has shown you, but you're unaware that you're already dealing with it or releasing it. So don't force, but trust. Trust, I think, is trust and surrender are the most important two words I would advise for any of you to just use if something feels very uneasy, uncomfortable, or frustrating. And when you practice the meditation, I think I shared a week ago or something, the session about silence. What I shared then is that going into silence is so helpful in this transformation process, because that's where you almost actively try to silence the mind, the chatter mind. So practice that silence, practice that every day, preferably in the morning, in the evening, for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Or even for 10 minutes. And if you don't have much time, because you have a busy schedule, it's a lot, I understand. But this is just as a comparison, not as something you must do. But I just didn't watch television for 5 years. So that saved me so much time, because that I was suddenly realized, like, what the hell am I doing there? Is it really helping me? Or do I want to spend it differently? And now I do occasionally watch a movie or a series on Netflix. But still, it's more draining me than it's really relaxing me. And I know it's difficult after a busy day when you have to be very active with your work or other appointments, or it's very difficult to sit in silence, because the mind is really racing and lots of to-do lists, and so then it's very easy to sit in front of the television and just focus on that. But it doesn't give you the same energy. Than if you sit in silence, or even if you run or do sports or whatever, for yoga. Because then at least you move the body, and you also then shut down the mind, but in a different way than when you just literally diverse the mind because you're focusing on a movie or on television. But of course, this is a personal choice that everyone needs to make for his own, for himself or herself. But even if you don't watch me or spend the time on watching me for half an hour, but instead of that, being in silence, I would prefer that. Because by now you've had already enough um, entry points or pointers to work with. I will share more, but it's enough for now to work with. And the other thing that came up for me early this evening was that um, be, be, be so proud of yourself right now, because you've already been doing this for, if you watched all the sessions, for 38, 39 days. And before day one, you didn't spend time on this at all, or a little bit, but not in such a disciplined way. So try to be really, really happy and proud of yourself, or be proud of yourself with all the little things that are already happening. And just surrendering to that. Surrendering that feeling like, I'm just opening up. I've heard enough already and I can just open up. And then by doing that, you probably will get more curious and want to know more. At least that's how it worked for me. And for many on this journey, because they kind of all get addicted to this path of self-realization, as it actually is what we're doing. So what I'm actually trying to say, perhaps with too many words today, is that that I know for each and every one of you who has been constantly following these days, perhaps not every day, but most of the days, or most of the sessions, then and you're really opened up to it, whether you understood it or not, or whether it's resonated for you or not, then a lot must already be moving within you. Even when you feel stuck, something is moving. So trust that yourself, your higher self in this case, actually what I'm talking about. But I don't want to make it too abstract. But that what is the deeper you within you. So not the identified you, but the one that is observing everything. That will show you in time when something needs to open up. And it will also show you when something is not really cleared yet. Like I experience my old family patterns again. Then apparently something still needs to be looked at. Or it's just a little test. So this question earlier this evening about the concept of self-love, if just asked by some of you, or one of you, the fact that it is a question already tells me that is something happening there. Because anything that has been touched upon in these 39 days so far is about self-love. There's so many things coming up and I'm just hesitating whether I should share more now or and I actually don't, because I don't want to make it another concept again. It's the only thing I want to share, if that might help, is if something comes up, then ask yourself, am I worth going through or dealing with this pain again? Am I worth of feeling triggered again? Am I worth of, I mean, do I really have to accept it? Do I really feel responsible for, no, not responsible. Hmm. Hmm. It's weird, I cannot find the words today. And the weird thing is that I can feel it all. When I'm talking about it, I want to share about it, but I cannot find the words. It's really funny. It almost feels like I should stop sharing because it's already sad. So perhaps for today, this is a very confusing session. Um, and the main message was already, I think, shared. Just surrender and trust and don't force anything. Just soften to yourself. Nothing needs to be done. So I will go back to the question that was asked by one of you earlier today. And apparently it's relevant again to share about it. But one thing, the mind won't give you the confirmation. Perhaps that's a valuable pointer here. It will never ever give you the confirmation. So if the mind does give you a confirmation of something that has changed, then, or something that has released, then you might even ask if that's true. Or is it just another trick of the mind to make you believe that it has released? But the only confirmation comes from the openness within your heart. That there's more connectedness there. That when something is triggering you or happening or frustrating you, then in that moment you cannot connect to your heart. Then the mind is really preventing you from letting go of it, from releasing it, or from feeling that what's frustrating you again. So don't activate the mind. Just let it go for now. Well, I hope the session made any sense. I think I'm going to listen to this one again because it felt really messy to myself. Okay, I'm going to leave it. Nothing comes up really other than repeating what I've already said. So I'll see you back tomorrow.